Uh, yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're tuning in to the Vulcan Soapbox. If you've been living underneath a rock, you're missing out on one of the most coolest, entertaining shows that's on the planet right now. Welcome to this platform where we are open to new ideas and diversity of thought. It's definitely highly encouraged on this platform. Join us as we dive into the science of analyzing and evaluating our current chaotic information era. In this platform, our goal is to, equip our listeners to equip them with like critical thinking tools that can enhance and develop their intellectual virtues, intellectual integrity, intellectual humility, and empathy with confidence and logic. Again, I'm your humble servant, most humble servant, Enos. I'm the host for today. I got two guests joining us, but first, let me introduce you to my partner in crime, Fresh.
Snipes. Y'all know me. I'm just here to get my shots up, man. We brought some we brought some intellectual minds in here to help us tussle with this Katt Williams interview. It should be a good one. Tune in.
Yes, the Katt.
Introduce yourselves. Go ahead, Trey.
SpongeBob. Oh
My name is Montre. It's a regular dude from San Antonio here to give my opinion.
I like sports, and that's it.
Hey, that was going to be my intro. My name is Hoops. I like sports. I'm here. I'm just a Texas boy, man. Here with the intellectual edge.
Definitely. So yeah, y'all. I know y'all seen what's been going on lately with this Katt Williams. So we're just gonna
down the internet.
Yeah, we're just gonna give our commentary and just go over this video, give our opinions, and try to share our thoughts and give you what we think about some of the stuff he was saying. All right, so y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it, y'all. Start off with this one. All right, it's showing up fine?
Yeah.
All right, what about my audio?
We love
Yeah, I can hear you.
My audio is better?
We could hear you fine. It's just, it's doing a little bikini bottom joint.
All right, I'm going to change it up while we play this video. All right, here we go.
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner. You my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We're going to do it together. We're going to do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my motherfucking word, my nigga. Go do what you got to do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. We get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I got to read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so mad, I say, you don't want me. You want Brandon T. Jackson. And that's who they went and got. Twice I said it, they went and got him. Just like I'm telling you, I had that other dude's work. I had all of it. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real niggas. And that's how I got in this position.
I sure hope I have Club Shay Shay after this year.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. In a whole different realm of business. Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few.
What makes a carnival vacation fun? A little bit of everything for everyone.
Commercial clips.
That's my uncle.
Boy, your uncle Dewan Blair, boy, quit playing. You on mute, you know?
You're on mute, bro.
I have to get the videos all on one clip so we can avoid the advertisements. All right, so fellas.
Hey, real quick, didn't Brandon T. Jackson come out in an interview and say Katt Williams is the one who warned him against wearing the dress?
Yes.
So.
And Katt Williams saying he's the one that told him to go get him for that dress?
Yeah. You lagging, Fresh. You lagging, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think that those are the words that were said. I think Katt Williams was trying to play it off like y'all trying to downplay me as if I'm Brandon T. Jackson, and then they went to go get him. But I didn't take it as he kind of backstabbed Brandon T. Jackson. Though I didn't take it that way.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So the question for the panel. The question for the panel is: wearing a dress in the movie, is that considered selling your soul? Let's go to who first?
So I think this question is everybody should have a different answer based on the values that you stand on. I don't think it's a question that's across the board. So I answer from my perspective. I don't feel like there's anything that I need to do. I need to be in a dress in public as an occupation or whatever, anything other than that. And that's just the morals that I stand on. Is who I am. I think everybody got a price. So again, that's different for the type of money that they throwing at. You know, that's a whole bunch of stuff changes, right? Everybody say, you know, I ain't gonna cheat on my girl, but somebody throw you $100 million, shit start changing. Not to say that I would be bought out, but I just think it's a different conversation when you talk about money. But in that particular situation, I don't think I'm wearing a dress.
Do you think now? Let me ask you this question real quick, Hoop, before Trey goes. Do you think so? Based on the morals that we stand on, right? We see it as you would see it as selling your soul, right? Is there any amount of money that would be worth doing that, or you're just saying from a pride standpoint, as a man?
As a man, correct? Yeah.
Because I don't know. They pin it as selling your soul. I don't know if they mean, you know, figuratively or literally, but
that's the other part too, right? I think there's two parts to that question that are, you know, figuratively, and then there's the part of this, you know, the kind of the iron fist that's the Illuminati that's nobody can confirm or deny exists, right? So I think it's a two-part question that I think people are thinking of just from that one side. So but yeah, from a pride standpoint as a man, I'm not wearing no dress.
Okay.
I don't like the way you said that though, by the way. Oh, all right.
I'm publicly not wearing a dress at all.
All right, Trey, you go. What you got, Trey? Is it considered selling your soul?
I wouldn't consider it selling my soul, but I do think that buck breaking is a real thing. And I believe that when it comes to masculine black men, there's a...
Hold on, before you said buck breaking is the real thing. You want to expound on that?
Man.
Yeah, basically,
Wait, Trey. You said
he's uncomfortable.
I just need to know the word that you said. You said buck, B-U-C-K, or butt?
No, buck.
Okay, I just making sure. It was a lot of giggling, so I'm trying to make sure I'm on the same wavelength with you. That's it.
I'm laughing because CJ said, "Man, now because."
Freshly.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Man, it's his first day.
Who, me?
Yeah, Trey. What you want you to expound on buck breaking, what that is.
It's a real thing.
No,
not really the definition. He said it's a real thing because to make sure it's pertaining to Hollywood of what Katt Williams is accused of some of these actors. I wanted to relate to the topic. That's all. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emasculating black men on a public platform to kind of, I guess, make them take a step down or not.
Confidence.
Yeah, it's like a
It's just like a sign of control for the people that are leaders within their community, that you can never be better than whoever.
Yeah. All right, cool. You in charge of them, but we'll still make you put on the dress.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm not wearing a dress publicly. I put one on as a dare once when I was like 15, or not, probably like 13. But publicly, that's not for me. I wouldn't call it selling my soul, but I can't name too many big, famous black comedians that are on the level that these people are attaining to be on that haven't. Not many of them.
Let me ask a question though. So if we consider that bug breaking, which I'm not saying it's not, I actually agree with you. Is it the same for white actors and comedians, or is that a bug break as well, or like what do we think about that? It's not.
No, I also think white boy humor is kind of they tend to find stuff like that funny, so
it's a cultural thing then.
Yeah, I think in some aspects, but I think them making us do it, or not making, because they can't force nobody to do nothing. But if what Katt is saying is true, then that's letting them know you got to kiss the ring, and that's one of the things we're gonna make you do to kiss the ring. So go ahead and throw that dress on one time. Dave Chappelle talked about how he wasn't gonna do it. Katt's talked about it on multiple occasions how he wasn't gonna do it. Eddie Griffin, same thing. It's been a few that are very, very funny and should be a lot higher than they are on the thing. And we saw them on the cusp of getting to where they seemingly wanted to be. And that dress seems to make a difference.
Yeah, to go off your question with the dress, I think in terms of just the white versus black thing that we all hate to talk about but know it exists. White culture doesn't shift anything. Our culture is the leading culture for entertainment. It always will be.
Okay.
So I think when you even look at
white Americans, you saying they plug it into the culture through us, and that's how they're controlling it through the bug breaking
and then the bug breaking from a culture standpoint. It starts off with individuals, but each individual has their own. They have their own community of people that follow them, right? And if you can get 4 or 5 of them to do it, or 7 out of 10 to do it, that's a pretty large piece of the community, because there's not another culture that moves the needle in terms of education, or not education, excuse me, entertainment, more so than we do.
Okay.
Yeah, the only reason I was asking Trey to really explain that, because technically buck breaking, I mean, from historical definition, I don't know if I could say definition, but historical understanding is when the slave master would actually buck breaking. They would actually, I don't know, I could say great, the most powerful, dominant slave that's on the plantation. He would do that. He would actually perform this act in front of the whole plantation to see, to show them that, to show the rest of the people that he's emasculating. So I'm wondering, we're saying that's why I tend to disagree with some of the guys on the panel, because you got guys in the white community, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who else? Adam Sandler. I don't think these guys was emasculated. I think that's just part of comedy. I think that's a form of comedy to put a man in a dress. Robin Williams, or just even in our culture, the black culture. One of my favorite episodes is on Martin, is when his mom bird died, when Gina accidentally killed the bird or whatever. That was a funny episode. It was comical. I don't think when I'm watching that show he was being emasculated. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's just a form of comedy.
Let me pose this question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pose this question real quick. If in an effort to cross over, would it not make sense to do things that the other side found funny? If we're saying, and I agree with you, if we're saying that white people find that type of stuff funny, they may or may not see it as emasculating. because it's comedy, which is why so many white comedians are comfortable doing it. If you're trying to cross over as a black comedian and to that demographic, would it not make sense to go into stuff that they think is funny in order to gain that audience?
Well, I say this: why we got to assume that it's just to make them laugh? We laugh at it too.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry is $1 billion industry. We go there because it's funny.
I understand that.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand
so we
that,
laugh at it too. It's not just white folks laughing at it. Black folks laughing at it too.
But Hoop and Mantra is saying that it's a form of emasculation that is put upon us by white Hollywood, if you will. So we would have to, as a community, have to see it as negative for us to feel any way about it. For Katt Williams to say something like that in such an accusatory manner, us as a community, us as a culture, we chill.
I'm just saying,
we see it as a negative thing. I understand. I agree with you. We see our community sees that as a negative thing. So either it is funny or it ain't funny. Because if you look at some of these stars, right? Martin blew up because of us. Really, all of them, all of our black comedians, they came from us. We blew them up because we think that the stuff that they do is funny. I don't know when in their career they started putting on dresses or whatever, but
why?
It was a.
But why is Shanae? Why was Martin funny? Shanae. Some of his characters was funny. It wasn't just him doing stand up, which but the show Martin, he was doing multiple different characters.
It was the generation of skits for sure. Yeah. I think a lot of it.
Eddie Murphy did the clumps. He did everybody.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy's he been on that. But I also think that when you try to cross over into the realm of where the white people are in control, I think you have to play by their rules. And so that's why I think that's a thing, right? Anyone who's the movie industry and the film industry is controlled by white people. It's just what it is. So I don't think they have much of an option. And when you say crossover, you can still try to go into the film industry, but try to service black people and make films for black people and black comedy. So it doesn't necessarily mean crossover into white people or white comedy, because I think comedy's comedy. I don't think it doesn't discriminate, right? But I think in those places where the white people are in control, which quite frankly, majority of the spaces they're in control, that's what it is.
Hey, Montre, real quick. Do you think that dresses are used as a form of buck breaking or emasculation because of how we as a community view it?
Yeah, to an extent. We are, unfortunately, a rather homophobic community. And or fortunately, however you want to look at it. And so I think due to that, I don't think anybody looks at Robin Williams or any of them white dudes as anything other than themselves. I don't even think anybody looked at Martin for playing Shanae or for playing his mom or for playing any of them characters or Eddie in the Clumps. It's different because they're playing a character within a movie, but it's a little different when the whole movie is you in a dress. That whole movie, Tu Wong Fu, Wesley's in the dress the entire movie. He's playing a drag queen. Big Mama's House, Martin's playing. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little different.
Okay. So if we as a community stop seeing it as emasculating, because the thing is, we still watch that stuff. We still thought it was funny. I mean, I ain't really jocking Big Mama's House, but we all seen the Clumps multiple times.
Yeah.
Point is, if we as a community change, do they have to find a new tactic, or are we always that as a form of emasculation?
I think our community is changing, but I don't think they're keeping up with the changes. So in their mind, it's still throw the dress on. And there's a lot of older. I think it's a generational thing more than anything. So I think as Katt and them get older and that generation gets older, it's looked upon a lot less because this generation of people is a lot more tolerant of a lot of things. So they're gonna have to find another.
I wonder when people when you look at the Wayans brothers, I wonder was that the powers that be idea to I don't know that. Or was that Ivan Wayne's idea to do white chicks?
I think that was.
I know how to with control, right? Say again.
I think that was Sean and Marlon's idea.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I haven't watched the whole movie, but every time I bring that movie up to, in social settings, oh man, it's social settings.
You already seen them? I'm
laughing at the private chat. My bad, honest. I'm getting distracted. Yeah, social setting. They said that's one of their favorite movies. They said that was a funny movie. So
yeah, I wasn't the target audience for white girls, white chicks.
Oh, okay.
It was. I mean, it was funny.
No, but that's my point. We are not the target audience for that.
Oh, okay.
I think that was a crossover for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see movie.
I think for them to get them in front of other folks because they already had us. They had In Living Color. They had I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Like to be honest with you, didn't one of them put on a dress and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
Yeah, I think so. So did we address why we don't hear the white community calling their actors selling? Did we address that or selling their song when they wear a dress? I'm not sure.
I don't. No, we didn't address it. But I'll touch on it first. I don't think that they don't address it. Mm-hmm. Again, they just don't move entertainment. They don't. Our community is a very sensitive community. Their community is a very tolerant community. So I'm pretty sure there's a group of people in a community that thinks that they are and have the same argument that some people in our culture have. But they don't move the needle on culture and entertainment like the Black community does. So I just don't know that we hear about it. Because I quite frankly don't think that even if they did have a ruckus, people wouldn't care as much.
Well, yeah, they definitely wouldn't care as much. How would we measure their effect on culture? We talking money, ticket, like box ticket, office box, net worths? What are we talking about? Robin Williams had a chokehold on. How do we measure that though? Is what I'm saying. We're talking about moving the culture, moving the needle.
Yeah. So here's a quick example. There's been many times where you've gone into a barbershop and you've seen a person who's not a Black person in a barbershop.
Right.
Have you ever gone to Supercuts and got your hair cut?
I know, absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen CJ with a Supercut cut. Don't ever do that.
Never. You never see me with a super haircut.
Yeah. Have you ever in your life? You know what? Have you ever tried to grow your hair out to get a comb over?
Hey.
And
your boy's guilty.
Yeah.
And you ever have that in sync joint? Where that mug go to the front and they curl it up like.
Your boy tried it. I tried to
what high school you went to? You had to go to Clark. Boy, ain't no way.
I went to Roosevelt. I tried it though.
You went to the Velt with tips? It ain't no way, Trey.
No. I wanted to. My tea lady wasn't having it, but I definitely wanted to.
Oh, I was finna say.
No.
Yeah, they would have had your ass right at that church, is roasting your ass across the street.
All right. Let's get back into it, fellas. Let's get back into it. All right. So
what y'all can't tell is Montre is big as Montre big as hell.
All right. Let's get right back into it. I'm about to play the next video, y'all. Here we go.
I need you to tell us why.
People know I don't go everywhere. I'm not. And
for our guests, y'all want to comment on anything, just let me know. Just say pause it and I can stop the video and y'all can give your commentary. It doesn't matter. We don't have to wait on me or Fresh. Y'all got anything to say, just feel free to ask me to pause it.
Interested in talking to people unless it's like a Larry King or somebody of an amazing ilk that I would actually want to go talk to in real life.
Okay. No.
I don't do it so I can sell product and I got things to sell, so let me come talk. You have a great product here, and as a fan base, We love the attention that you spend on the guest. We love how much work you've done, how well you know them, how prepared you are. The same things that we liked about you in football. You brought that on over to here, and that's why it resonates. And the reason I had to come is because you've made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here and lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was going to be Money Mike. And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now three quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Well, I didn't know
he shouldn't be able. You wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man you stole that? Oh, so he could get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
He couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he was.
Sir, no one. Why no? He was with KD. He beat up Terry Crews. Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood, they switched off roles. You take this and what?
I'm not on my parents' health insurance anymore, and I work for myself doing a bit of everything. So I found a plan for just.
Ricky Smiley knows this. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie, but I can tell you this. We auditioned in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days? The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy, right, where I have all the credibility.
Pause it real quick.
All the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is.
So how do we feel about Ice Cube coming out? I should say, does this affect how we see Katt Williams' credibility when Ice Cube came out and said there was never no rape scene in this movie? We think Cube is lying, or we think Katt Williams is lying?
Honestly, it doesn't sway me either way. Only because, I mean, if it was something that happened, you know, a year or two ago, maybe, but if you're talking 20 years ago, where people are trying to hold on to a memory that could be completely different, I'm not swayed either way.
So to that point, and again, I'm not saying I disagree with any of it because I don't, and mostly because I don't know the truth. I wasn't there. I don't have any facts, or I just have what he said and what the other guy said. But when Katt Williams says things like, "You was gonna cast a 5'5", 135-pound Santa Claus," I don't see how that argument any way from Ricky Smiley, who's taller, maybe 20, 30 pounds heavier, still skinny, as a crackhead. Like the role was supposed to be played as a Katt could have easily played that part. It's not. It wasn't like they cast a traditional Santa Claus to play that part. It was supposed to be a crackhead hood thief in a Santa costume.
What's more believable?
That's not me saying. What do you mean? What's more believable? That Katt Williams could be a crackhead, could play a crackhead,
or that Ricky Smiley looks more like a crackhead. Not in terms of the role, not them, personally, but
I don't know. I would have had to see Katt Williams crackhead.
You think it's a concept? That's fair.
And to that point, they both could have done it.
Yeah, they both light in the frame.
So to my point, I'm not saying Katt's right or wrong. I just don't like when he offers that type of statement as a reason why we should believe Ricky Smiley's lying and he's telling the truth. Like that's not a good argument to me. When I'm looking at it, it has no logical bearing. Like it's just someone just say this, I'm an instant, and niggas gonna rock is gonna rock with me because of it. You think they was gonna cast a 5 foot 535? Maybe. I don't see why they couldn't have.
That's how I feel about the race.
And to that point, like yeah. But what I'm saying is he exactly. So I'm just saying, listen to what the man is saying. Like I would require, if I was Shannon or if I interviewed him, I would need more information. I would ask you, like, so you saying you couldn't play a crackhead? Like, and I understand this, Shay he's not a journalist. He's just on there. This is a 2.5 hour interview. Shannon Sharp was just riding the train.
Yeah.
Katt Williams came on there to get busy. Yeah. So I'm not knocking anything. I'm just saying, is that substantial for us?
I think Shannon Sharp had a list of questions he was going to ask, and Katt Williams would take it to another direction. And sometimes that's pretty good. That's pretty good to do that with certain polarizing figures like Katt Williams. Just let them talk. You're going to get a lot of content out of those people when they do that. I noticed that with Joe Rogan when he interviewed Kanye West. Just let the guys talk sometimes, and then let the show go where it need to go. But yeah. Anybody else want to add anything? Go ahead. No, I was gonna say.
I'm just saying. Are we rocking with Katt because we agree with him, or because of what he's saying? Like he's making a good argument. Did
anybody hear Ricky Smiley's response
about the audition?
About just the interview in general, like that segment of the interview.
No.
I heard a good amount of it. I don't know if I watched the whole thing.
He never denied anything that Katt Williams said.
Nobody really did.
He did it, and if there's something that's a lie, whether you remember it or not, but your stance is completely different, I don't know that taking the PC road was the best for Ricky Smiley, because it leaves the door open to push that truth that Katt Williams said out there as something that's not false. He didn't fight it at all, or just come out and said, "Man, look, that was a long time ago. I don't remember if that happened. To my knowledge, it was none of that. It was like, yeah, that was Katt Williams's. That's the way it went. Like he just didn't deny it in any form."
Okay, we got a comment from Chris B. He says, "Exactly, nobody did." I'm assuming he's saying everybody that responded probably didn't address or deny.
Yeah,
the things Katt Williams was accusing him of, except by his few. He said that wasn't true. There wasn't a rape scene, except him. All right, so again, I'll wait till after. I'm gonna ask that later. All right, let's get back into it, y'all. Why is it doing that? All right. Hold on for a minute.
We're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped. So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? 35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was going to play Money Mike. No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? Why? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote. So what Ricky Smiley say on his? You can't say my lines, I wrote them. That's how I already know that I'm going to be funnier than you. What he told everybody was Katt Williams. And don't nobody know who he is. I'm on the radio. I'm with Steve and Said. Everybody know me. That's what he told everybody that would listen to on the set. That's the truth of the matter. He was so egregious, not now, then. He was so egregious that, and Hollywood has never heard this in 100 years. He was so egregious, I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract.
Why would you put this in your contract, Katt?
That's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women. And I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
So that's why, because when we released that clip and he said that, you responded because he said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000.
I'm after there. I heard something.
Hey, real quick, I got a question. And I actually think that I heard one of the people who responded to him say this. And I had the same question. Do we as a community, as long as really believe that Steve Harvey himself stole the concept of hanging with Mr. Cooper, or do we think that a network canceled for whatever reason they canceled Hanging with Mr. Cooper? A network, even if they did, let's just say they stole it, they took the content and created the Steve Harvey show. Do we think that Steve Harvey had anything to do with that, or is Katt Williams? Do you think Katt Williams is saying Steve Harvey should have turned that down if he knew what it was?
That part is what I think. And that's what I think he talks about. We're talking about gatekeepers and selling your soul. Not necessarily that they walked into an executive board meeting and said, this is what I want to do because I saw Mark Curry do it. But they know that it's out there and they don't stand on man shit and Katt Williams is argument and just say, no, I'm not going to do that because my brother's already done that.
Hollywood
are they brothers though?
No,
I'm
That's
just like what's up, my brother type shit. Not like me and you, but like
no. Well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm like that's my man's or whatnot. But so you're saying Steve Harvey should have gave up that bag just because they stole it from Mark Curry? Do you think that they would have just found somebody else, or you think that show would have failed and neither one of the black brothers would have got a chance at success?
They would have found something else for Steve. It was his time to have a show, so they would have found another concept.
They would have found something.
But the Steve Harvey show started, I think, in '95. The Hanging with Mr. Cooper didn't end until '96, so they ran concurrent for a year or 2 years before they shut it off. I think Hollywood seen something was working, and they was like, you know what, let's
rock with it.
It's a copycat league like everything else, and that's why I think Katt Williams is like, y'all sold because y'all could have just stood on business. And you could have had your own lane off, and Mark Curry could have been just as big. Now, don't even hear about that motherfucker no more.
Well, but I think what they did run concurrent for a year. Curry, what do we blame Steve Harvey for what happened to Mark Curry? His show got canceled. We think that's Steve Harvey.
And then at the same time, was it really the same type of show on Steve Harvey? He wasn't a principal. He was a jazz teacher. You remember the Regina? She was the principal.
Mark Curry was the coach.
Yeah, he was a basketball coach. I mean, we're really gonna say that was the same show? Steve Harvey had a roommate. Cedric. I don't think was Mark
I'm
Curry
Mr. Cooper
married
had a
on this show.
roommate.
I don't know.
Holly Robinson Pete was his roommate.
I'm sorry.
Holly Robinson Pete was his roommate. I think they got together at the
His
end.
romantic end.
Yeah, so it's kind of
It-
blurry for
I-
Katt Williams to
like
tie
this.
those two.
It's-
Well,
Right. It's weird for me to see him attack Steve Harvey as if Steve Harvey wrote the script and was like, "Hey, let's do this." I understand where he's coming from.
If somebody brings a show to you with the settings you in the school, I mean, how many positions in the school can you play when it doesn't seem like you copying or biting off Mark Curry? All right, you got principal, you got a principal, you got the teachers, you got a coach. I mean, how many titles can you have in the school where it doesn't seem? You get what I'm trying to say?
No, I understand it. I think in Katt Williams, I'm not saying one side is better than the other or right or wrong. I think Katt Williams is saying that you saw Mark Curry's rise at that time, and instead of you standing on your own business, because I don't think it was any denying, and I'm probably younger than everybody in the cast, so I don't remember that time frame very much, but I don't think there was denying that Steve Harvey was going to be Steve Harvey at some point. But I think with the way that he went about it in Katt's defense, probably kicked Mark Curry to elevate himself a lot sooner.
Yeah. But okay.
Here's my I got another question. If they ran concurrently, which they did at least for a year, right? That means they pitched and shot that show. So I would accept easier that Steve Harvey was trying to ride Mark Curry's wave than he was trying to kick Mark Curry out. Because unless Steve Harvey was in those upper level conversations where they said, "Hey, we're gonna run y'all concurrently for a year and then we're gonna cancel Mark Curry's show," how would he have known that Mark Curry was going to be out if he was in?
What I will say is sometimes, I don't know this for fact, obviously, I'm not a comedian, nor am I in Hollywood, but sometimes, like Miss Pat, I'm a big fan of Miss Pat. Miss Pat came to BET and whatever show she went to and just pitched them the show she had already created. BET picked it up. So the whole Miss Pat show was her doing. So there's a possibility that Steve went to them. They gave him a development deal, which is what they did back then. Gave Steve a development deal and told him to develop a show. Now, he could have seen what Mark Curry was doing and was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own little spin on that. Sorry, there's a plane coming. I'm sitting outside. But he could have said, you know what? I'm going to do my own little spin on that. And then go from there. Because there's quite a few similarities. His roommate was said, Mark Curry's roommate was Holly Robinson Pete. If I'm not mistaken, she was the principal at that school while he was the basketball coach. Regina's the principal. Steve is the jazz teacher. Steve is after the principal. At the end of the show, Mark Curry ends up with Holly Robinson Pete. There's a lot of similarities going on with that show. Yeah, with those shows.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get back into it.
New scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Oba-Kaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have a range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing.
Somebody said something?
No, I was laughing at the Oba-Kaby joke.
Real quick, I think he added that.
Why would anybody send a script to Katt Williams that was meant for?
My bad. Trey was saying something. My bad, Fred. You said what, Trey?
I just said I think he added that Mr. Potato Head thing in there so he didn't offend Shannon Sharp. Because everything he was saying sounded like he was talking to Shannon until he added that Mr. Potato Head at the end.
I'm happy I wasn't the only one who caught that. Why would somebody want a big black country? I was like, hey, yo.
Damn. Yeah, and then he said, look like Mr. Potato Head. He was like, whoo, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Slid out of that one.
Talk about me.
That shows Katt Williams comedic genius, man. Very witty, man. One of the best in my opinion.
Hey, how could Katt Williams? Why would Katt scripts that were meant for Steve Harvey? How would he know?
Oh, you want to get back to that? Go ahead.
Well, I'm just a statement. Like he said, ain't no scripts in Hollywood asking for that. How would he know? He's seen all the scripts, or he's seen the scripts that got sent to him. If I have a role in mind for anything near Katt Williams, I'm not sending it to Steve Harvey, and vice versa.
True.
Two totally different looks, different abilities. Like they would never get the same script.
It was just a shot.
You said what?
It was just a shot. He just threw a shot at him. Because he
But
said he
that's
ain't
my
wanna be a movie
point.
star.
I would rather him just be like, I'm mad. I'm finna take shots at everybody. He out
Yeah,
here.
but
He out
like
here.
I think it was a
pushing
very
stuff to the-
concerted effort. My fault, Fresh. I think it was a very concerted effort. Like he had a plan when he stepped foot at Club Shay Shay.
Oh,
And I think that it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
100%. I don't want to say scripted, but for you to think that a genius like Katt Williams and whatever range of genius he is, for him to not have a plan to go in there and stress the truth, you crazy. I think he definitely went in there and exaggerated on some stuff, a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I agree.
And I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all.
All right.
Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore. The way you. I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you. Truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't
He's
write
doing the album.
jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
You don't think Sam's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
It seems to me, Katt, that you had a lot to get off your chest.
No.
You wanted to set the record straight.
Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. I don't say any of these things if my name is not breached by these people on your platform. If you give a liar a platform to lie, then I'm not being messy by saying, hold on, that never happened. It's untrue. And there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing I'm saying.
So let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't 3 random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's
okay,
not.
What comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm a parking gate and I'm all out of whack. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem.
The highest art is beautiful.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just on straight.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0. So why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose her and that she's never been interviewed. Resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and that she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's
Yo, I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, we better go take a fresh out. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when he said, once you enter this program, oh, y'all hear me? Yeah. Once you, my man, I was reading the comments. That's not even related to what we're talking about. All right, so look, so yeah, so when he said that once you enter the, I guess these group of people, he's calling them the gatekeepers. Well, we're gonna get to that later on. He said you get your light-skinned woman with a big head. And I'm not just talking about one person. I'm talking about 7 of these people. I guess my first.
That's a lot of different angles here.
Yeah, that's why it's a lot of. There's a lot of projecting. I want to. Yeah, let me tell you y'all got any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I think again, this is Katt getting to the point where he's alluding again to the Illuminati and, ceremonious behaviors that when you do something, you get this in return, or there's, a return on your investment based off of doing this. And we've kind of mentioned and hinted at it on a couple of different occasions. So I think that's sort of what he's hinting at. And it's hard to say that all of it is a coincidence on the other part of it, right? But this is one of those things, nobody's confirmed or denied the Illuminati. So it's like, what is he really trying to say? So I think there's some type of transcripted message he's trying to get out there.
I never really paid too much attention to people's significant others like that. Even I saw the internet did what the internet does, and brought up list pictures of comedians and their similar looking wives. But I think for the most part, a lot of women are starting to look the same anyway. So it's kind of hard to just put that on them.
Yeah, I don't even know what none of their. Only person I know who wife is Kevin Hart's and Steve Harvey, because she was on his show all the time. But I don't know what Ced's wife looks like. I don't know if Ricky Smiley got a wife. I think he might be single. I don't think I ever saw Bernie Mac's wife, but I don't think he's talking about Bernie. Who's the other person? I don't know too many comedian wives though. But I mean that goes across the board for celebrities though. I don't know a lot of celebrity spouses, you know what I mean? Unless they're a celebrity themselves.
Yeah, that's how I've always. Who they're married to ain't really none of my business. So.
Yeah, I don't. It don't make a difference to me either way.
Yeah, depends on the product that they put out.
Hey, why would we want to interview any of their wives in the first place if they're not doing nothing? Why is that something a point against? They ain't never been interviewed. Ain't nobody seen them. Why?
Yeah,
it's a fair question.
Yeah, I wouldn't care to hear anything from them.
But to that point, I think that's why you don't interview them. I don't care what they have to say.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but so why did Basketball Wives have a TV show? That's the
drama.
That's fair. There was on what E Network, the E Network.
Mm-hmm. One of them.
Yeah. Or no TV, whatever it was.
I couldn't. I ain't watched nothing since Flavor of Love when it came to reality shows. So
Somebody in the chat said Housewives of Comedians coming soon.
I won't be surprised if they did.
I mean, at this point, it's a draw, right? Like they gotta have something where they intertwine at some point, but I don't think they're gonna get to a table and make a deal happen for anything.
Oh, nah, Enos, this comment does have something to do with what we're talking about.
You say
check the private chat.
No, it's not. It's in the comments where Help the Bear.
No, I'm telling you to check the private chat.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, Help the Bear said from back on Fig said they seen Katt Williams buy dope. I mean, I don't know if it's true.
I think the point is it true just because somebody says it? Like I think the people will smack to have some sort of proof, some sort of crowd. Whereas it seems like, and this is my only problem with this interview. I'm a huge Katt Williams fan.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so weird to me that the community as a whole, or the majority of the community, is on board with this, and Katt Williams is just saying, he's just talking. He substantiated very few of his points.
Charlemagne always says nobody cares about the truth when the lie's more entertaining.
Facts.
And
it's a bar.
I agree with you. I just want more people in the community to admit that that's what it is.
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
He making a whole bunch of flashy comments without, huh?
That'll never happen.
That's accountability, bro. That's
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Nah,
hey, but niggas is rocking with it, bro. They love it. I know.
This is good talk after you finish hooping. It's good talk when you at the Domino's table. It's good talk for podcasts. And barbershop. Katt Williams is relevant. I ain't never seen so many cell phone recordings of him on stage that I have in the last 2 weeks.
Hey, that's a good point. I'm gonna ask a question that doesn't necessarily have to be answered right now, but we could talk about it at some other point, or maybe even have a different pod on it. Do we think that our love of drama and is detrimental to the community as a whole?
Yes.
No, it's the world's love of drama, bro. It's not just us. The whole world loves
drama. But I can only speak for us. Because I didn't. Well, I guess you got Jerry Springer, but like we basketball wise, that's for us. What's the other show with the rappers? I guess the former rappers. Love and Hip Hop. That's for us. We love that. Well,
they got Mob Wives. They got Wives of Orange County. They got Real Housewives of whatever.
Those are copies, though. No.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everybody loves the drama. It's not just us. But that goes back to what.
Yeah.
We are the
as a baseline. Yeah, as a baseline, people love drama, but we do a better job of promoting the drama to make it more entertaining. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, yeah, we moved the culture, so once we did it, it was okay for them to do it.
Yeah, but everybody wanted it. That's the reason they made their own, because so many of them was watching what we had going on. It was like, oh, word, so y'all like this too? Okay, well, let's show y'all what's going on in Orange County. Let's show y'all what's going on in the Valley. Let's go show y'all what's going on in all these, wherever else they do.
I agree with that. But if we're starting it though, if we the leaders, which we are
the arbiters of cool.
Is this type of cool detrimental to our community? This type of we push this stuff too. If that's what Katt Williams is doing, and he's leaning right into it, and he's speaking as a person who's supposedly for us.
Well, everybody likes
the community. He's telling the truth.
But again, he's exposing. Everybody reads exposés. Everybody watches it. The whole world been waiting on the Epstein list for drama. There ain't no black folks really on that list about us. It's drama. I mean, there are some black folks on it. Don't get me wrong.
I'm for the same.
No black folks that we care about.
No, but I mean, yeah, but like, there's some black folks. Just overall, that's not.
I think Oprah on that thing. I heard.
Yeah, but niggas stop messing with Oprah.
We haven't cared about Oprah for years.
Yeah,
that's fair. And
Last
she
part
messing with
gave away, that
messing
was
with Taraji, so I really don't fuck with her now. Man. Taraji ain't did nothing to nobody.
it. I mean, that go to that Monique argument. She was yelling at Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels.
Yeah. Said let them know when we want to get back to the video. I'm cool if y'all want to keep moving.
Yeah, I'm ready.
God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TGJ, any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Oh, pause.
Amen.
Gee, he said big dick deviants.
He did say that.
Okay,
he definitely said it.
True. All right. Yeah, pause that too. Yeah, somebody said,
kind of get on there.
I thought he stuttered for a second. No, man, okay.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
And big dick deviant.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, why did he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike, because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told him to go get the Prowler. I then told him to paint it purple. I told him don't have an actor at playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan to play. Like I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time and they're giving information no one else knows or have ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are like, this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey was never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made all lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand.
Hey, did he say that in 15 years, no one's ever heard of a sold out Kevin Hart show?
I think he meant
before. I think he was talking about before he got his Netflix special and his I think he had a TV special or like something he did.
Yeah, he got
okay. He's talking about his early career.
That got it didn't get picked up on the as he was walk out on stage for his debut party or whatever they call that shit. They stopped him and told him the show wasn't coming out.
Okay. So let me ask this question real quick. And this is too. do we believe Katt? Do we only believe Katt Williams if no one comes out and says the stuff that he said not true, or do we believe him in pieces and parts and just say he's a mistake and stuff? Like how do we feel about it? If stuff starts to come out that's proven what Katt Williams says is wrong, or not true, how do we feel about his overreach? Are we still rocking with it? We kind of already believe it. What are we saying?
I believe what's believable. I believe Cedric the Entertainer stole jokes.
Because there's proof, right?
Yeah, I don't believe he read 3,000 books in a year. So I think he just, and if you let anybody talk for 2.5 hours nonstop, they're gonna lie. Ain't nobody gonna tell the truth for that long. You got to make it entertaining.
Got to.
Right, he's talking about. His stance is that he is the one telling the truth, and they're lying. They each had a couple-hour interview. I'm saying his whole stance is that he is the truth teller, and that the other liars. But if he's lying as well, do we not get to also call in to question his credibility the same way that I will call Ced's credibility into question now?
That's what we do.
Steve's credibility into question.
Yeah, that's what I think the point is, right? Like I think that there's, even if you take every interview and there's 50-50, 50% truth, 50% lies, it's still some shit that's uncovered. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that we got to look at it from a non-biased perspective. But even at non-biased, if there's 50% of that shit that's true and 50% that's exaggerated or maybe even lies or just stretches of the truth or omission, I think that you still are finding out some shit that is some real fuckery going on back here. But I'll say this though, I watch a lot. I don't want to say I'm a historian of comedy because I'm not, but I've watched a lot of old shit. I've watched a lot of documentaries, like that guy Tory documentary that he was talking about Carolines and all this other stuff. I saw that stuff, and when you go back and look at that stuff, everything that Katt is saying is lining up. Nobody talked about Cedric the Entertainer coming up. Nobody talked about Steve Harvey coming up being homeless. That's Steve Harvey's story that he tells. I've never heard on any other platform anybody corroborate that story. Not to say that it's true or false, but if that's the story that's out there, and you was doing all of this stuff that's out there, I've never heard anybody else talk about it. The Kevin Hart thing. I mean, I can kind of see because singing.
What Steve Harvey stuff you talking about?
Steve Harvey says that he was homeless and he was living out of his car for years, and he just struck gold or whatever. I've never heard anybody else say that. The Kevin Hart thing about Kevin Hart kind of just coming out of nowhere that he said, I remember that. Like, I don't remember seeing anything about Kevin Hart, and then all of a sudden I'm a grown little man just took off, and then the Shaq special just took off where he headlined the Shaq All-Star Jam, where he was talking about how Shaq falls and all that stuff. Classic. But before then, I can't name you nothing of Kevin Hart. I guess Soul Plane came out, but even before then, like, how you just get a movie and that's like nobody heard about your stuff. But other comedians have said they remember seeing Kevin Hart's grind. They remember seeing him come up. So again, there's 50% of that truth, 50% of that false stuff. Kind of another thing too. Everybody that I've heard Kevin Hart that's talked about Kevin Hart's story, they've all been intertwined under his payroll too. So there's that.
Gatekeeping.
There you go.
Now, what about Patrice O'Neal? He's dead, but Patrice O'Neal has stories about watching him
on the East Coast.
So does Chris Rock. Chris Rock ain't on his payroll
on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Katt said. So my issue with what Katt said is I don't think he did much. Maybe I don't think Kevin did a big LA grind, but he's from Philadelphia. He worked the East Coast. By the time he came to LA, he had worked his. Remember, I was talking about the developmental deal. That's how he ended up getting that TV show. The shit just ain't work. That's how he got Soul Plane. Soul Plane, it didn't work, but it worked. It's the hood classic, and then he just kind of springboarded from there. He does good business.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't sell his soul or whatever the case may be. It's quite possible he did, if that's if that's actually a thing. But at the end of the day, just because nobody saw him on stage in LA a whole bunch doesn't mean he wasn't doing nothing.
Facts.
And he so
that's my
is a huge white comedian, but that motherfucker ain't been on stage in LA very often. He New York City, East Coast grind.
Yeah,
he one of the biggest things spoken right now.
A bunch of white comedians who are from the East Coast. Patrice O'Neal was huge on the East Coast from Boston. He ain't do no Hollywood work.
No.
So again, this is my point when I'm talking about this interview, because when that interview came out, we was on the bandwagon. We was like, yeah, Katt, tell him. I just hate for the community to look at it and just rock with it because and nobody did no research. It don't even sound like he did any research.
Facts.
I suppose it just disappoints me because that's detrimental. He could have said anything and he could just believe it.
But
why won't we go do our own work before we just rock with something like that?
If somebody you knew and somebody you liked and somebody you didn't like came and told you a story,
you can ask me that question.
You're gonna believe the person you don't like. I mean, the person you like probably before you'll believe the person you don't like.
100%.
That makes sense. It's the same thing. Everybody
CJ
likes Katt
won't.
Williams more. You won't?
I understand that. CJ won't do that. No.
Okay.
I got questions.
Well, that's fair.
I got questions.
Okay. That's fair. But just
I think what he's saying, I don't want to talk for you. I don't want to talk for you, Trey, but I think he's saying that most people are going to rely on who they're loyal to first, regardless of truth or fault.
Yeah.
And I've known Fresh my whole life. I know that he's going to be on that. However, when it comes down to whatever, and this don't need to go any other way but where we at, when it comes down to getting to smoke, I just know where it's about to go. When it comes down to, when there's smoke involved or anything other than, we getting whatever we got to resolve out, he going to come back to, hey, bro, you was fucked up, right? You know what I'm saying? But again, it's the loyalty piece, which I think you was talking about. Like, this is where it's at. So yeah, I don't know. I do think that
I agree.
You can't. There's an endangerment to our people. There's an endangerment to our people when you go off the cusp like that and haven't done your research. But I will say, like I mentioned earlier, there is a concerted effort that he had to go and make this blow up. And I don't know. It's hard to decipher what's true and what's false.
I agree with you. That concerted effort, the fact that he came in with all this material and not all of it is necessarily true, but I won't say I know for a fact. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that he's talking directly to us, right? He's talking about black comedians. He's talking about the black community. He's talking to us. I am more worried about why are you telling us all this stuff? What's the point? In the sense that, like, I'm gonna just say what I want. So I'm gonna sprinkle whatever on here, even if it's 50-50. Why are you giving us 50% lies? Why are you talking about you're hailing yourself as a truth teller? Like, this is what I do. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm like, okay, if to Hoop's point, which I don't disagree with, and I'm not faulting him for necessarily what he says. I'm faulting him or I'm looking at his purpose. Why would you come on here and give it to us like this? Is it just because we rock with you that we'll believe you? That seems like he's taking advantage of his fandom. To me,
which I think everybody's guilty of.
Yeah. Okay, I recognize it as promo, which
that's what I'm saying. It's marketing at its finest, bro.
You said it ain't though. He said I don't have nothing out there, and that's what made to that point. If it's marketing, then that's fine. Because if he's trying to get his name up because he's about to do something, cool. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
It all shake out. Enos.
Understand the definitions of these words.
Thank you, sir.
With Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo,
Boy,
you can instantly know what you spend on things like food.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries this month?
Hey, Dad, can the guy stay for dinner?
No.
Want faster, easier banking? You can with Wells Fargo.
Mama handed you that, baby. That it's your time.
I need you to take my boat out for a run.
Yeah, okay, Pop.
Uh-oh.
We're going to show you what real...
Tommy Lee Jones?
He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't. Wow.
Man.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back.
He said he showed up at the same place all the other black dudes was.
Yeah, and if he told him no, maybe they told him no too. Anyway, he ain't the only one can say no.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Man, just be like, you ain't saying anything.
Also, I think Harvey Weinstein was the one trying to receive things from people. I don't know if he was trying to suck dick to give out movie roles. They don't.
They don't line up.
Nah,
but
really.
in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he has 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped.
Steve Harvey has said multiple times that he is willing basically to tap.
Yeah, my bad. I was on mute. I just want to say this because I thought he was going to talk more about the gatekeepers. I'm going to say this. I heard a quote back in the day. This guy said that the most hated person in the black community is the black businessman. I think my theory is the reason why this video is going so viral. I think in our community, we like to find dirt on people that's successful at times. You know, that's just one of my theories. I'm not saying that's solely based on that, but people that do business or in business and how they get money, sometimes that rub some of the people in our community the wrong way. A lot of times because they don't like to. It's 2 sides to it. Maybe these guys are really shrewd businessmen, or the guys that they did work with wasn't hard workers. And a lot of times, you only hear the side. You don't ever hear the successful guy's side of the story. You always hear the person that actually did business with the person or was under that person, the successful guy, right?
Right.
So that's the only thing about the gatekeepers I'm concerned with. It almost suggests that Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey, these dudes are not really hard workers. It's suggesting that. A lot of times, maybe the reason why
they took shortcuts to get there.
Say again?
It's suggesting that they took shortcuts and they didn't work as hard as, say, Katt Williams. And that's why Katt Williams is not where they are.
Exactly, because like I said earlier, I wasn't able to comment on it, but comment on what I said earlier. Patrice O'Neal is well-known, top 5 best comedian. No, your comedian's favorite comedian. I say that. Your favorite comedian's favorite comedian. And he said he vouched for Kevin Hart. Bill Burr vouched for Kevin Hart. So on the East Coast, do you really have to be at California to get a movie there? Can't they just see what you're doing?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So And then maybe his hard work, whatever he was doing, is possible. Maybe he just worked hard, and maybe that's reason. All right, let me slow down. When people say he's not funny, maybe that's why he got those deals, because he had to improvise and work on his work ethic. Some people that got that. I'm sorry.
I said maybe they saw something else in him. You ain't that funny in stand up. You animated.
Yeah.
Let's get you on the screen.
All right, go ahead.
Y'all ever noticed there's only one superstar black comedian?
Always. Never. Everybody got to play. Everybody got to sit their time out.
There's only one.
That's why I say, man, like I there's always, like, when you look at this interview, it's a lot of things that line up to corroborate Katt. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. Don't get me wrong, but it's some stuff that you be like, well, I guess so. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of that going on.
I think
But
you
there's
said at one
always
point when you was talking to me, you said there was a truth. There's truth in every lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Also, wasn't Kev in other movies before from the East Coast? He was in Paper Soldiers, right? He was locked in with Dame, who was moving pretty heavily at that time. If you locked in with some of those folks, maybe you get a deal that way. Maybe you get noticed by people you wouldn't get noticed by because you got people pushing you. No?
I mean, maybe. I don't know that. I don't know that Paper Soldiers was an exposure thing for Kevin Hart.
He only did Paper Soldiers, and the next thing you know, it was Soul Plane. There wasn't nothing in between. He wasn't guest starring on the episodes of Living Single and no shit like that we seen. He just,
I don't know.
It kind of just came out of nowhere, bro.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying his hustle didn't exist. I'm not saying his hustle didn't exist at all. I'm just saying, like, for outside of the East Coast hustle, wasn't on the scene nowhere else.
We can't say he don't got the hustle. We see it currently.
Yeah, we definitely see the hustle. But I just, to the audience where he was at from the East Coast, it wasn't nothing coming to Texas, and I could probably say the same for LA at the time before Soul Plane.
Yeah. Katt saying he a plant. So either we seen his hustle, he is a plant, and he ain't got to work.
I wish Shannon Sharp would have made.
Yes, I got a question for the panel. I got a question. Can you be a plant and a gatekeeper at the same time?
I think so.
Can somebody define a plant for me first? I understand what a gatekeeper is, but what define plant?
Plant by the industry. Oh, go ahead.
Plant we could say is I guess an industry plant, right? So because you hear this term or this phrase be thrown around a lot in the hip hop industry as well, right? So I guess we could say, let's just get a broad statement. Somebody that's portrayed as because this is okay. So let's think maybe an independent, somebody that started, because he said this about Steve Harvey not being really a grassrooted talent, maybe that's backed by, let's just say, the powers that be, major companies or the industry.
For what purpose?
From the beginning of the career,
That's the question I have. Who I understand what a plant is. They saying you were put there in the industry, but for what purpose? What is your? Are you?
So basically, you're a puppet, right? They put you in a position where they'll give you the backing, the funding, but you have to run their narrative. Basically, you have to tap dance for them.
Yeah, you're not grassrooted. You didn't come up from the mud. You was actually put there from the corporations. Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe if you come up, even if you come up from the mud, if you agree to like what Hoop is saying, you agree to run a narrative, then you could still be a plant, no?
Yeah.
And if you get it from the mud, you have something about you that says you wouldn't lock into that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a crazy dynamic, right? Because if you're a upcoming, they're not taking people that are already established to be plants, right? They're taking somebody who's young enough, dumb enough, who's dynamic enough to mold, but can also get to where they need to be, right?
Right.
So at what point do those conversations come to you where the money isn't a factor, where you're not even thinking about something else. You know, if you can't understand it there, apply it to an athlete, where an athlete is like, I can either go to school and get this degree, or I can go to the league and get this bread. What's the difference, and why would, if somebody comes to me, would I not want to take the money to run out the script? Like, just as playing devil's advocate, right? Because I think it's a negative connotation around that, right? And I don't, whatever, you know, they do what they want, but like, why would you? In what scenario would you not?
There's some people
I'm thinking depending on what. No. Well, I was just gonna say it depends on what the script is, and based on that, what script being played out by a Kevin Hart type. I don't want to keep focusing on Kevin Hart because he's the first person to be accused of being a plant. But what script is he running out that is, I guess, negative or detrimental?
My opinion, we needed another black superstar. Kevin Hart is probably the safest we're gonna get right now, or the safest we was gonna get at his time coming up. Katt Williams ain't safe, and as you can see, Katt Williams talk too much. Katt Williams is our generation's version of Eddie Griffin. Hilarious.
I agree with that.
Comic.
But he's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, but he's gonna tell it like it is. He ain't going for none of this stuff. He doesn't want to play the game. They refuse.
I agree with that.
So when Kevin Hart came on the scene,
being
he's talking about like 2004.
Yeah, well, when Kevin, he probably came out about then. Yeah, he was.
So what other comedians, if you could think about when you in 2004, what other comedians was out there? Because you had, only other person I could really think of off the rip is probably D-Ray, but D-Ray is also not going for that either.
You had Mike Epps, we had Michael Blackson, we had Kevin Hart, we had Katt Williams in 2004.
None of them going for that except Kevin Hart.
Except for Kevin Hart.
How many? I mean, if the population is 14% American population, what percentage of black comedians should we have in the industry representing us? I mean,
more than one.
I don't even. Yeah, there's definitely more than one, but more so than anything, I think there's less black comedians than probably any other race. Maybe Asians probably got the less, but we carry the most amount of volume and weight, bro. Like, we shift shit.
Are we really? I mean, are we just really supportive? Are we really just really supportive of our actors and comedians, right? So are we shifting stuff, or is just most of us at those movie theaters? Is it a bunch of white folks really going to see our movies? Or is it we just come in masses to support each other? Are we really shifting the culture, or we show up in numbers because the majority of the audience and consumers is us? Because I know I heard people. Somebody was telling me this. They was working in a hospital and they was talking about Martin. You know, they're a nurse. It's a female nurse, and she told me that none of the nurses knew who Martin was. We know who he is, but in their culture, are we really making a dent in their culture like we think that we are?
I
a lot of people don't know a lot of these people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so, man. And I think everybody's got their own audience to a fault, though. I just think there's more overlap with black comedians, and we're talking about the 1% of the black comedians than there are of the 1% of the white comedians. Like, I couldn't name, and don't get me wrong, I love people like Bill Burr, I love Joe Coy, I love a lot of these comedians, but I can't name any of their punchlines. I've never gone to a place where anybody's saying their punchlines. I've gone everywhere and I've heard somebody, all races, talk about a Bernie Mac line. Everybody's heard somebody talk about milk and cookies. Everybody's heard about, you know, the Kevin Hart with his kids. Like, so I think so. I think we do shift the culture that much.
Yeah,
I wonder because Shannon went on record to say that this is the third most watched, I guess, interview content on YouTube.
He said,
as far as the interview, right? The first two is Joe. The number one interview, most watched interview is Joe Rogan interviewing Elon Musk. Now, come on. It sounds like to me that majority of people that consume this content, the Katt Williams is us. That's what it seemed like to me.
Well, I think that's how it's gonna be. We support our own.
Yeah.
Now, to my point,
and I'm saying the people that's watching the number one watch Joe Rogan, I don't think a lot of people know who Katt Williams is.
I disagree with that.
You know who Katt Williams is.
Yeah, I disagree
White
with
folks
that.
know who Katt Williams is.
Yeah, they know who
He's
Katt
he
Williams. They may not be a fan
he
of him.
does too much work. Hey, there was
think we
a
made
Sure,
it
he's not. Well,
comedian on Joe
how? He
Rogan.
said he's not in. How? He's not even in Hollywood like that. He said that himself. What major movies have Katt Williams been in? It's a star role. I believe most white people know who Kevin Hart is. You think white folks really know who Katt Williams is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think so. What major
Yeah,
movies
man.
Katt Williams played in that went international?
Major
Are we
movies
talking
that
about
went
in the States or
international?
international?
We're talking about international.
Or in the States that he was the lead role of anything. Like Eddie Murphy. I could argue Eddie Murphy. I'm talking about comedians.
Yeah, but
maybe argue.
I don't think you need to be a movie star for white people to know you. White people know his specials. He got a bunch of specials. And low key, they all kind of classics.
Okay.
Everybody's seen the Friday.
Yeah. Next
It
Friday,
was our
yeah.
movie, but
Or
that
Friday
was,
after
that
next.
was
He wasn't the
our
lead
movie,
role.
but everybody saw it.
Nah, but I mean, people know him though. People know Money
That's
Mike.
what I'm saying.
Now
I
let
lived
me
with a white family when that movie came out. His mom, my best friend, was a white dude. His mom came to us and was like, "The new Friday movie's coming out. Y'all want to skip school and go see it?" And let us go skip school for the new Friday. That was his mama's idea. She was a white lady that wouldn't even let me watch BET in their house.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Oh, there you have it.
Yeah.
So
Let me play this. Let me play this as a devil's advocate. If we shift the culture so much, I'm not saying we don't, but if we do shift the culture so much, why can't we get multiple superstar comedians in there at one point in
because
time?
we don't
Why is it?
hold
Why
the keys
why?
to all the gates.
So do we really shift the culture that much?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we shift the culture, but we shift the culture and we're not in control of it though.
Athletes
That
shift to
makes sense.
NFL. They don't run none of them teams.
None.
All them teams owned by old white dudes, but athletes are the ones that
I can see that.
shift all them leagues.
What about Dave? Do we count we count Dave as an anomaly?
Yes.
What do you mean?
As far as
Like in terms of like
he's
who his
looking
audience
outside
is?
No, I'm saying he's a superstar comedian who's hot right now at the same time as a Kevin Hart type comedian. We just consider Dave an anomaly, right? He can kind of move in and out of superstardom whenever he feel like it, regardless of who's hot right at that moment.
Yeah, I think so too. But a lot of Dave's comedy is catered for the masses. Like you don't hear him just talking about black church or barbershop. Like he's talking about politics and his shit.
Yeah.
He's a very, very like conscious and political, spokesperson on a lot of different fronts and a lot of his shit.
Dave in reverse space because everybody loved the Chappelle show, regardless of race.
That's
and
a
then
fact.
He disappeared and then came back when everybody was looking for him. So he just came. He kind of slid into. He played it right, basically.
Yeah. Does Kev do black centric? Kev does Afrocentric comedy, or does he just do comedy? Is
Kev family?
Yeah, huh?
He does family comedy.
He does, right. So I think that might be why he crossed over, why he got the type of success. To Montre's point earlier, I do agree with you that he's safe. He's the safest option we got. He's clean cut when he came out. He's not violent. I definitely agree with that. And if that's what they mean by plant, like we're gonna pick the safest option, the option that we think we can get to the top with the least controversy, which is, in my opinion, I'm assuming that's what we mean by safe. Right.
So let me ask this and put it in a different genre. I know Fresh is a sports fan, but it's Trey. Y'all sports fans?
I'm not.
So I mean, okay. So in the NBA, they always talk about the face of the league, the face of the league, the face of the league for these players, right?
Right.
A lot of it you have to be talented. You have to, have a lot of these boxes checked off, right? But as a billionaire owner, I would want somebody who's safe for me to put all my marketing dollars behind, for me to get a return to grow what I call my business, right? So for those players, are those players considered plants?
That's what I'm trying to. That's a good question.
Like just thinking from the psyche of it, right? Because I know Fresh and I, we have these discussions since we was in diapers, right? Like, so I know where he going with it,
Yeah.
but when you talk about like the face of the league and the face of these big entities like that, are they considered plants or are they considered good business decisions?
Good
It
business.
could be both. Like I said, it could be both. I definitely think it's possible that it's some plans where people are putting certain people in the industries, but I think that's undermining the people that actually work harder and really understand the business. You see what I'm saying? And somebody who's good at business, who's been in business for a long time, they have an eye to notice that with up and coming entrepreneur or actor or comedian, like, okay, he understands this. Katt might not understand this because he's saying a lot of gossip, a lot of rumors. This guy right here, if I put money into him, I'm not gonna have to. I won't have to worry about him getting canceled, and I'll lose my investment. You get what I'm saying?
That's the thing,
Yeah.
the canceling thing. So
That's
Katt
I'm just
basically
saying
like,
we're
I'm
not
not going to
exploring
not
that
say what I
option.
want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Kevin Hart is a good business investment. I think Kevin, even if he wanted to say some of this stuff, wouldn't, because for the same reason like Steve. Steve said, I stopped doing comedy, or I didn't come back to comedy because I can't be attached to certain topics and opinions because I got these network TV deals over here. And I don't know if Steve Harvey is a plant, but I know Steve Harvey is safe right now. Steve Harvey is family nice. Steve Harvey can't say whatever he wants.
Steve Harvey is Savion Glover to the dollar, though.
Yeah, he's accused a lot. That's my problem with this one. He's accused a lot of these guys.
That's not a bad analogy, big bro.
Without having a lot of sufficient evidence. You know what I mean? But let's get back to, we ain't got enough. We only got, about 15 minutes left, so we'll almost close it out.
Stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life.
Introducing Georgia Aquarium's expanded resident pass. Pay for 1 day and enjoy unlimited.
See if you can meet here. How does he say that?
Say what?
He says every one of those guys are not funny out there in real life. There's no way that's a factual statement. That's an opinionated statement. But he's stating it as fact. You're saying that Kevin Hart, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, none of them are funny in real life. Outside. That's a crazy statement to make. It got to be full of conjecture, if only because you can go look at the numbers. That's not even talking about whether or not they are funny.
Would it have been better, or like would you be able to understand it better if he said they're not really like that? Would that made it a better pill to swallow?
I would have asked what you mean by like that. But I would have asked what you mean by like that. I'm glad he clarified. They not funny. Yeah. To who? That would be the clarification I'm asking. They funny to somebody.
Steve Harvey's not funny.
They funny to somebody.
It's just the older, they're popular.
Your auntie, your granny.
But if you do jokes, that's your thing, and you're popular from that, how do we say he's not funny?
Well, I mean, in that regard, we can't say nobody's not funny. That's a comedian because somebody always gonna laugh at it.
All it takes is one. That's all they say.
Yeah, but these are the most successful comedians we have. None of these people started out as nothing else but comedians. And Steve was on one of the biggest. It might even still be the biggest. No, I think Ross still got that. But like, it's one of the biggest.
Kings of Comedy, I think, is definitely the big. I don't think nothing's gotten bigger than Kings of Comedy. Bro, I think Kings of Comedy was like a 3 or 4 year tour, bro.
Yeah, they ran it up.
They ran it up.
You said what?
I'm talking about success. It's the I want to say it's like one of the Raw is one of the most is probably the most successful stand-up.
I'm gonna fact check that. I'm pretty sure Kings of Comedy got them.
Yeah, I think Kings of Comedy be those.
Yeah, and if it's not Kings of Comedy, I think from a tour standpoint, I think Kevin Hart probably has the most in terms of just pure money. And I think that's just he's just, prisoner of the time frame. But in terms of success, I definitely think that Kings of Comedy was more successful than Raw. Not to say that it was funnier, but they toured for a long time, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing with Katt. A lot of things he's saying are subjective. There's nothing wrong with being subjective or staying subjective points. So him being a plant subjective and him saying these guys ain't funny.
That's funny.
Like you say, he's saying these things as if these are facts. Let's get back into it.
Yeah, you could play it. I'm gonna fact check it, so when we come back, I'll have it.
All right.
Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you got to be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is. But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not going to have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym. But you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay. Let's get to your upbringing. We're going to circle back and we'll get some...
I want to protect you real quick because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019. But
oh, what I meant to say was, no, what comes out in 2000? Make sure you tune in to BET, was you seeing me doing this joke.
Right.
And this joke is one of those jokes in comedy where you set it up and it takes a little longer to set it up, takes about 3 minutes, but then you're just hitting them with jokes after that because you don't have to set it up.
Right.
Mark Curry had already helped me work on this joke because I thought it was good because I was getting a standing ovation on it. He had me go back in the lab and help me craft it to be an even more powerful joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times and Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon, I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that? Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Now, I'm reading.
Everybody that knows that.
Katt Williams won Cedric the Entertainer's Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Did you win that award, won Katt Williams? It's a simple yes or no. It's not a rhetorical question.
It's a question that probably should have been asked to Cedric the Entertainer.
I'm asking you. I got you here, though.
I know. I couldn't believe Cedric didn't get asked that question. You was telling dudes joking and giving an award, and then 10 years later, you don't know nothing about it. Hey, but I promise you this.
What?
If he sees me again before he sees you, he'll be talking different when you see him. That's for certain. That's the difference. That's what these comics understand, is that I'm not doing nothing for clout. I don't even recognize clout. But eventually the Lord is going to let me and you be in one hallway. A lot of these dudes go, Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why? Yes, because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. I'm always a physical specimen. And when you see me, I'm much, much bigger than you had thought. I have far less play in me than you would like. And I'm relentless. I'm out there. I'm still, to this day, I play 11 games of basketball with a 20-year-old. The record is 92-6. This is just in the yard, just to the rack, just because.
You work out, Katt? I mean, you work out, Katt?
Not to the gym.
Right now, you work at the gym? You push ups, sit ups?
My whole life it was just push ups and sit ups only. I would do like 100 push ups a day. Just.
I thought you were gonna say 1,000.
No, because this is literally every day.
Right.
This is not for the gram. You know what I mean? Like literally 100 a day. And I would do push ups, and then I tore both my rotator cuffs, and so it was only thanks to golf that I was even able to get my stuff back. I've been a golfer for quite some time. My short game is impeccable. I can't get you but 2 and some change off of the tee, but I'm still coming in for par guaranteed.
You playing for the tips?
No. I've found that you don't get anything for that. It seems very egomaniacal. They go, hey Katt, for free, you can go further back. Hey, wait a minute, does it still count the same? Hey, I'm up at the ladies' tee. Don't tell me my pronouns. On the golf course, I'm she, her, him, them, and they. Whoever at the front tee.
I know we're joking, we're having a great conversation, but you did win the award. How did the award help your career? It had to help some, Katt.
Nope.
God, come on, Katt.
I didn't remember it happened till you just said it. How can Cedric give you an award that was worth something? Everything Cedric and Ricky Smiley ever been in got canceled for not being funny. Ricky sat here and told you that they cut him out of every movie he did. They always had a reason. Like, that's why I'm funny, because I'm a happy person. I laugh all day long. I can't even imagine the misery of these bums. Just to not be good at what you do, not work hard at what you do, but have to act like you're the best at what you do. It is crazy. It's crazy.
But they be touring, they be doing like 100 shows a year?
That's me. I don't run into none of them. That's what I'm saying. If you a Faison Love fan, you mean you've been a fan of him for 32 years, you still waiting on him to do his first special? You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey your favorite comedian, you mean you've been waiting for him to do stand-up for 15 years now?
I mean, Steve got a lot of other
DL still out there. None of those irons matter to stand-up. Who cares that they wrote a placard for you to do Family Feud on? Like, you're successful because we're surprised you can talk for a living and it's entertaining that you're going to say some funny country things. But not a writer.
Right.
Not a writer.
When you got into stand-up, was crossing over, was doing TV, was doing movie, was that a part of it? You're like, okay, I'm doing stand-up. Okay, the next progression is TV movies.
Throughout the history of stand-up, sir. That's the goal for all of us. That's how it goes. That's why when you hear these dudes talking about, oh, I didn't want to be a movie star, you just know it's disingenuous. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Yeah, oh, no, I just wanted to do a game show.
Right.
What? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I thought you did Mark Curry's show over after he had just done hanging with Mr. Cooper. Why would you do all of that man's stuff that he did on his show on yours and then do the dude's stand-up? You go on the road and then you never put Mark Curry on your show or nothing. Like, if you don't say anything, these dudes will run over you. I don't know if you know how bullies operate. But if you don't stand up for yourself, there really is nothing they won't do.
Right. So. Do you consider yourself a king of comedy? Where the Katt?
No, they consider that. Oh, like when after Bernie left, them same 3 guys I'm telling you about, the kings.
Yeah. Right?
Because DL is the greatest. Yeah. There's no DL slander gets tolerated. But they came to me. I was supposed to be the 4th king. I got the offer. Then what happened? But I turned it down.
Why?
Because you shit on Bernie. And I know the truth. You think I'm gonna let you shit on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king? Fuck you. Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. The reason you was supposed to go last is because it was your tour. Tell the truth. It was Steve's tour. Not it was going to be called the Kings of Comedy. It was Steve's tour. These are the guys opening for him. Of course, you got to close if it's your tour. That's why it was such a big deal. But you couldn't do it because you can't beat the best. And until you humble yourself, you will forever be king by the king. And because you finally did it, because you didn't have no other choice, and now that he gone, you gonna act like he wanted to be a movie star. You stop it. You stop it. That man was funnier than all of y'all, and y'all thought y'all had one over on him. You thought he was black and ugly, and you were good looking, and he couldn't make it because you did. And that ain't the way comedy works. The king is the funniest. Period. Every time. And that's why no audience member was ever swayed. It didn't matter where Bernie went. You think if Bernie went first, he wasn't the king? Get out of here. Get out of here. Get your ego out of this. You let the best be the best, right?
Katt Williams, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming on, bro. I really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing the stories, setting the record straight. Now, you know they're going to double back.
Impossible. Impossible. Only because once you play this back, you'll realize I didn't say anything that made me look in a good light. I wasn't tearing down others to boost myself up. But I do have to acknowledge things that did not take place. Like, we're very ingenuous if we say this is not a game and we don't play it and people ain't in positions and people don't have their favorites and they group and they click. And, well, that happens in all businesses. No. Say what side you on. Say why you don't like the other side. And then get to the game. But in the game, I'm wiping the field with them to the point where they don't even compete anymore. So how you gonna let a dude that been on the bench for 15 years, I would have beat Jordan's ass. Shut up, Jordan is still alive. We'll call Jordan right now. You can't beat him now. Not then, you can't beat him now. Right.
Katt Williams.
This is a metabolism.
It's a metabolism killer.
Real quick, just so we can look at this.
Yeah, so I saw that. I'm the fact check was the tour, not the movie.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I was trying to look up the tour stats, but I don't know if those are public. But yeah, I knew the movie Eddie Murphy Raw has a higher grossing amount to it, but part of me thinks a little bit of that is longevity, but whatever.
Is Katt Williams on that list?
Hey, why are you doing this, man? Why are you acting like this?
No, he's on that list.
Why you doing this, man?
I wanted you to scroll down. I want to see.
He's not on that list. Why are you acting like this?
Nah. I don't think anybody here was saying that Katt Williams should be on that list first.
Kevin is on that list. A couple times too.
That's because they're all
well done, Ooh.
Everybody knows it.
He's a player, nigga.
Obviously.
But yeah, I saw the
Richard Pryor's a player too.
I think he was the first.
You think Richard Pryor's a player?
No. I think he was just the first to do it.
Oh, okay, I got it. You think he's OG?
So I think everything since has been trying to model.
Duplicate that,
yeah.
The first what?
One of his kind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say
first superstar comedian.
Miles Mabley.
Yeah. So I think you put
Bill Cosby.
Richard Pryor. You put Richard Pryor in that MJ kind of category where he's just out of the argument. Not that he's the GOAT, but he's a lot of people's GOATs. And then right after that, you probably put Eddie Murphy where people try to put him there, so he's kind of out of that, and then it's everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I just want to deal with what he said at the end of the video when he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who was talking?"
No, go ahead.
I just want to deal. He said he didn't big himself up to diss people. I seen a lot of virtual singling. Katt was doing. He was making it seem like he was the more. Not only the better person, but he had higher moral standards than a lot of these comedians, So,
there's no way to judge that. There's no way to tell.
Yeah, so he's
like, saying that's what he was doing. That he was virtue signaling a lot.
Yeah,
so he may not have been. I mean, he was saying he was. Yeah,
he did that all throughout the interview. He was doing that.
Yeah, I think I think he executed his mission very well.
Mm-hmm.
Executed the plan very well.
There ain't no way Steve Harvey is on this list.
Man, I just wish we had some questions so we could really dive in. I really want to dissect this interview, but we had some hiccups in the beginning before the show started, so we didn't really get the whole in on our questions where we can really bring the best out of each other. But this is still fun. So, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up, fellas?
So what?
We'll start with Trey, the Hoop.
I ain't really got nothing. I appreciate y'all having me on. This is cool. I enjoyed it. This is my first podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, we'd like to
we
have
definitely
you
get you on
back,
here
man.
again, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
always down.
Yeah,
I'll be doing that on Thursday
I
night
think
too.
I would just want people to have this dialogue openly, which I think this is a good platform to do that. So y'all, I like what y'all doing. Hopefully it catches traction and fire. To be able to, be the kryptonite to a lot of people's, false narratives and lack of thought. I think that's needed in the community. So I was happy to be a part of the episode. Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah. So my closing statements, similar to what Montre and Hoop was saying, man. I always enjoy chopping it up with my bros, going through having intellectual discourse on different things in the community, man. This is helpful for the community to just see different perspectives on things, things that we like, things that are important to us. Oftentimes we don't talk about this stuff a lot, but we bring up something like Katt Williams' interview where he burned down the internet and just really debating the truth or false of it all, but more debating on, is he making a good argument? Is he presenting his information in a way that we should just believe? So I think that critical thinking aspect of analyzing anything is important to the community. Is something that I think we have a large there's a huge need for in the Black community as a whole. So I hope that you see, people that look like you on a platform like this, utilizing critical thinking and having intelligent discourse without, we're not getting into it. Nobody was up here fighting or hollering at each other. We just had real conversation, even when some of us didn't agree. So I just hope everybody sees that type of thing and duplicates that, in their barbershops and in their homes. Appreciate y'all for coming on, man. It was dope.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, I'm glad we had Hoop and Montre on here. So, man, please feel. I can tell that y'all some intelligent brothers. Like I said, we're just starting out, and I think y'all can really add some value to the show. So, we're gonna have some different topics next week if y'all willing to come show up. Yeah, but for the audience, like I said, this is Vulcan Soapbox. With this platform, we are open to new ideas and diversity of thought. It's highly encouraged. So, just join us while we delve into the science of analyzing and evaluating our current chaotic information era. So, yeah, that's all I have to say, man. Until next time.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Y'all take it easy.
All right.